Waiting for Duffman is the 17th episode of the 26th season of The Simpsons, directed by Stephen Dean Moore. And I thought this was a pretty decent episode. Something happens to Duffman. He becomes injured, so they need to find a temporary new Duffman, and they hold auditions or a competition hosted by Kat Deeley, which is pretty awesome. I often forget that she actually made it quite big in America. And Homer, of course, tries out and becomes the new Duffman. But his experience of Duffman allows him to open his eyes to a different side of alcohol that he'd perhaps not seen before. And I won't say any more than that, but as somebody who doesn't drink, I enjoyed the narrative. I thought it worked really well. I'm not the biggest fan of Duffman as a character. I don't like him, but if I were to name my top 20, 30 characters, he's not going to rank. And I did think, will I enjoy this? Will I care for it? It was great. I loved seeing Homer in this role. One of my favourite, genuinely made me laugh, was when Marge gives him permission. This is obviously a spoiler for something funny that happens quite early on, but it won't spoil the narrative in any detail any more than I already have. But when they're in the front room and Marge gives Homer permission to try out for Duffman, and Homer turns round and starts thrusting his hips as he travels across the room, practicing the Duffman oh yeah thrust, which I rather enjoyed. I also laughed quite a lot of this episode, actually. The bit when they're all trying out and they all have to step forward and say oh yeah, and obviously they all say it in different ways, and it reminded me of, do you know the game Buzz? It was for the PlayStation. I'm not sure if it was any other consoles. But when you'd have those Buzz characters and they'd each have like a different weird quirky noise they'd make, that's really what it reminded me of, and it was so funny, and it just put me in the mind of that, which then entertained me to no end. But I thought it was a really good episode, very thought-provoking, showing the effects of alcohol. I think Holmes through everything was really fascinating, and I really think he suited the role of Duffman. I think it worked quite well, so I had a lot of fun with this. Going into it, I honestly thought I wouldn't enjoy it that much, but turns out I actually really love it, and it's one of the best episodes from season 26 so far. Whether or not it'll make my top 5 list by the end of this season, we'll see. But so far, definitely one of the funniest from season 26. Really thoroughly enjoyed it.